Hi, this is Alan Shay, and I'm here with Our Society. And today we are fortunate enough to be here with Gary Medell. And I would love for him to share with you what his purpose is here in Pasadena on a beautiful March day. So why don't you share with the viewers what you are doing here in Pasadena and what your hopes are, and really how wonderful your project is from what I've heard so far.
Thank you very much. This all started for me with my older son Brian, who was addicted to drugs, and unfortunately October of 2011 he passed away. And when Brian was alive, it was about me supporting Brian and our family supporting Brian in any way that we could. And Brian was courageous in his battle against addiction. So after he passed away, I was getting phone calls and emails from around the country from people around the country that knew Brian were giving me stories of how he had helped them, saved some people's lives when they were depressed, by talking them through. And so I wanted to start a small charity in Brian's name to help other people as he had done. So we did. I formed a small charity called Brian's Wish. And I did some research in the first quarter of 2012 to determine what we would base that small charity around in the area of addiction. And when I studied addiction for the first quarter in 2012, I became aware of several things I didn't know before, which completely changed the outlook of what we were going to do. Number one, I had no idea how big an issue this is. When Brian was alive, it was about Brian. I didn't know what was going on in the country. But when I did research, I found out that this is the third largest cause of death in the country behind heart and cancer. It's the number one cause of death, people below the age of 40. There's 25 million Americans actively addicted today. And then unlike cancer, American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, Autism Speaks, Susan Komen, for breast cancer, there is no national organization to combat drug and alcohol addiction and to raise funding for research, to support families, to advocate for the change in public policies that we need, both in prevention and treatment, and well beyond that, to eliminate the stigma related to this disease. So that's when the business plan changed. It changed from a small charity called Brian's Wish to a national charity. It's going to be the vision is to be the scale and scope of the charities I just mentioned related to drug and alcohol addiction, and to provide the funding for research, provide the advocacy to change policies, to provide support to families, information to families, and for those addicted, hope.
So why don't you share with the viewers, Gary, how did you come about creating a focal point to really grab the viewers and the participants' attention so that you would get the appropriate attention to get a momentum going for your foundation?
Sure. I looked at the common ingredients among those large health charities that I mentioned, and I saw one common ingredient, that a vehicle they used to bring people together, to have fun, to create awareness for their disease and their cause, to unite people so they can bring those people together for advocacy work, was events. And as autism, Walk for Autism Speaks, Susan Komen, Race for the Cure, American Cancer, Relay for Life, excuse me. And so when I looked at what could we do for us, I said, well, there's a lot of walks, races, and runs. We're breaking new ground here. If we're going to create a national organization and bring attention to what we're doing, we need something unique and different. And then we thought about people who struggle with addiction. They conquer their fears every day. What if we created a series of repelling events around the country where people who aren't addicted conquer their fears? And think of the message that sends. Say you're a 25-year-old and you dropped out of college because you were addicted. You lived on the street for a year. You entered a treatment program, got out, relapsed, went back in, got out, relapsed. Now you're doing well. You're thinking about going back to college. And you look at the papers every day, and there's a walk for autism. There's a race for breast cancer. There's something else for autism. but there's nothing for you. Society says to you, we're not doing a walk for you. Society says to you, go in the bottom of some church basement, go to your meetings, and take care of yourself. So the symbolism of this is those not addicted conquering their fears, if people who are addicted can conquer their fears. And the added symbolism is, we care about you. You deserve people to come together to raise money and awareness for you because you have a disease.
So would you share with the viewers that your symbol or your identity is the repelling event that really should attract those to your specific foundation and set you apart from all the other ones? Initially. It's going to be much broader than this. This is a starting point. This is the first pitch of the first inning. So, but it's a great way to have that first pitch. It's a great way to get attention to what we're doing and bring awareness to what we're doing and send a message to those who are addicted. We're going to be here for you. And we're starting with this, and we're not stopping. And this year we'll have 20 repelling events. Next year we'll have 20 repelling events or 25 repelling events, and we'll have 25 Ks. And the next year we'll have 30 repelling events and 25 5Ks and 30 walks. It'll just keep going. And in addition to that, there's a lot of other things we'll be doing. Well, why don't you do this, Gary? Why don't you share with the viewers?
Sure.
What do you mean about repelling? Because a lot of the viewers, they're hearing what we're talking about, and they're hearing the passion that you've shared with the viewers about what brought your interest and your purpose. But now you may be speaking Russian to them by saying repelling. What does that mean? So why don't you share with them really the whole essence of the repelling, and then work it into how you go about selecting locations to host the event?
Absolutely. First of all, to your viewers, there's probably nobody on this planet that's more afraid of heights than I am. I literally can't go to a 10-story building and walk to the window. So when we selected to test this about 7 or 8 months ago in San Jose last December, I immediately signed up saying, this is our first event. I have to symbolically do this first event. And my wife said, you're nuts. You can't, there's no way you're going to do this. You're going to shake, there's no way. So, but I told her I was doing it, and I was fine. I was so busy. The day of, I woke up shaking. Going up the elevator, I was shaking. But when you get on the roof, they strap you in. It's so safe. You practice a little bit leaning back, so you get used to the sensation of leaning back and not falling and not hitting your head. And then they walk you to the roof, and you're all strapped in. I mean, they've done 500 of these in the last 10 years for Special Olympics, Boy Scouts, Make-A-Wish. No one's ever had a scratch. And you just lean back, and you have a little thing on your thumb. You press it when you want to go down. You let go when you want to stop. If you go a little bit too fast, it automatically stops for you. It can't be any safer. And what a great event. And as far as your next question, you wanted me to lead on why did I pick Pasadena? The LA area and Pasadena specifically, it's an intersection of a couple things meaningful to me. My son passed away in LA, so the LA area is a tough place for me. If I want to conquer my fears and my emotions, what better place to do it in LA? And also surrounded by some of Brian's friends who knew him in LA just before he passed away. And there were about a half a dozen of his friends here today. More than that, probably about 7 or 8 who knew Brian, who came out for him today. So I think from that perspective, it was an intersection of things. And then lastly, my former life, I was in the hotel business. My company owns about 45 hotels. And I've missed my friends in the hotel business. It's been hard for me. We own the Westin Pasadena. So what a great way to start out this series this year, to do it in a hotel that we own and operate, that there's people in this hotel that I love and they love me. It's just a great way to start this series.
Well, we are certainly glad to hear that you bring a lot of your investment purposes to Pasadena, because we love Pasadena, and we certainly try and share our Pasadena experience to all people, especially people throughout, and with a worthy cause as you shared with us so far. It just added another notch to what Pasadena offers everybody.
Right.
So I'm really glad to hear that. what we're going to end up doing for the rest of today, we're going to actually follow Gary and this experience of rappelling, so he can really give us a real insight experience for you viewers, so you can really appreciate how passionate he is and how he is a man of action. Not only did he create a foundation and he designed a identity, but he actually partake in the identity process. So we're going to follow him along and go up to the top and come down to the bottom. So we look forward to you following us through this new journey.
In October 2011, I lost my son Brian to an insidious disease, addiction. Addiction shattered my son's life. Inspired by Brian's courage in battling this disease, a few months later, I made him a promise to dedicate the rest of my life to sparing as many families as possible the devastation that Brian and my entire family had suffered. In the United States, addiction kills 15 people every hour. I'm committed to someone addicted can be given the compassion and hope that can save a life. Join us at Shatterproof.org.
Well, we're back. We're here with Gary before he gets strapped up to take the daring, repelling leap that he's going to take off the building shortly. But we wanted to get a little more intimate with Gary and find out really what his hopes are regarding the foundation, and really how you feel, Gary, that the viewers can really feel how important it is to understand your mission.
Sure. There's so much to talk about in a short amount of time. I think the thing that strikes me the most emotionally is the unfairness that's happening to so many people in this country. 3 months before my son died, before Brian died, he flew home, and after we had a barbecue and everybody left, we were sitting quietly on the porch just hanging out, and he said, "Dad," he said, 300 years ago, they used to burn women at the stake in Salem, Massachusetts, because they thought they were witches. And then they found out that they weren't, and they stopped. He said, hopefully someday people will realize I'm not a bad kid. I just have a disease. And I remember that every day. There are 25 million Americans who struggle with this disease every day. And it was not until after Brian died when I started to develop an anxiety disorder, and I have to take a pill every day for my anxiety, that I realized what it feels like just to have anxiety. No one knows. These people struggle every day with a brain disease. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to go use drugs and destroy my life. They use because their brain is telling them, as sure as my brain is telling me to move my lips and talk right now. And this is the social injustice of our time. And I can talk about prevention and statistics and this and that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to a real person, with a real family, and a real father, who are being treated unfairly. And we're going to change that. And the way to change that is the power of the people. Awareness can create change. People coming together within one organization can be empowered to create change. And this needs to be changed for the fairness of people like Brian, who's passed away. But for Brian, it's too late. For me, it's too late. But it's not too late to save another parent's child or another child's parent.
So why don't you share with the viewers how it can really impact the community, and why you believe that Los Angeles would be a feeding ground to really expound on how wonderful your mission is.
Sure. The reality is this is happening in every community in our country. It's not specific to LA or specific to New Hampshire or Ohio or anywhere. We need to build from the ground up in communities all over the country, a grassroots effort to change the hearts and minds of this country and raise awareness about this. For LA specifically, there's a special personal meaning for me for LA. This is where my son died, in Los Angeles County. And to start here, as we did today, means something to me emotionally. We're not stopping here, we're going all over the country. But to start here today, where Brian passed away, to me was important. And you know, LA might get a lot of publicity because it's LA entertainment. The reality is this is happening in every community in the country. This is a community issue. This is not a national defense issue. This is a community issue. You know, in every high school in America, everyone, 8 out of 10 kids use drugs or alcohol. Those 8 kids are not bad kids. Not 8 out of 10. Not 80% of the kids in this country are bad kids. 1 out of 8 of those become addicted. I guarantee you that one who became addicted did not put his hands up to the sky and say, God, addict me. It just happened.
So Gary, why don't you share with the viewers, how can we make the name Shatterproof become a household word, and the reality of addiction being something that is viewed as a accepted disease versus a stigma that most people shy away from?
Sure. I think I would propose that the answer to both of those questions is the same answer. Is for your viewers to come to our website, shatterproof.org, and join us. Put in your email address, and you'll get newsletters every week to 2 weeks, and they'll keep informed about what we're doing. And spread it among their friends, whether it's spreading it by email or spreading it by Facebook or sharing videos that we create or sharing the story that we create to others. It spreads. And as more people join our cause, when we want to have a law changed, we have people who will sign a petition, people who will vote for the politician who supports the policies that we need changed, people will advocate for us, people that will donate, people will come to events to create awareness, people will go to our website and learn about the disease, because we're going to have a lot of great information on there by the end of this year.
Okay. Well, why don't you share with the viewers your website address?
Sure.
And if you have a Facebook, the name of the Facebook
Sure.
page, if you have that, and make sure that the viewers know how to make contact with you.
Sure. Our website is www.shatterproof.org. On our website, in the top right-hand corner, you can click to join our Facebook. And our Facebook is Shatterproof HQ. We also have a Twitter account. You can just go on Twitter and search for Shatterproof. And we have there's also a tab on our website for Contact Us if you'd like to contact us. And I strongly encourage you to do that, because the answer to those really good questions is the power of the people. Unite and we become empowered, and we can create change. So thank you, and I urge you to join us.
And I am totally appreciative of you, Gary, allowing us this time, and also, again, raising the awareness of community, because that's what this show is all about, is our society and how we as people need to be in tune with what impacts our society. And addiction, drug abuse or drug use, all those things play into family.
Absolutely.
And the most essential quality of life is family. Because if you have a loving, wonderful family and a wonderful household, it's invaluable.
Absolutely. You're
So
right.
I certainly appreciate it. We're going to let you
Thank you,
move
Randy.
up to the roof so
Okay,
we
great.
can watch you rappel, and we've enjoyed the interview so far, and we look forward to the excitement.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
And this will be the groundbreaking for Pasadena.
Absolutely.
So Gary's letting us know this is going to be his groundbreaking rappel for Pasadena. First time in Pasadena?
First time in Pasadena.
First time in Pasadena. First time in Pasadena. We're going to get you from the top and the bottom.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
People with addiction conquer their fears every day. I can conquer my fears.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank you.
Alec, 18, about to do the over the edge wall climb. So, yeah, excited.
And tell them what organization sponsored you.
I'm from Action Family Counseling. So,
Well, good. Well, we look forward to seeing you on the
you.
ground. Thank you, John.
by in support of Shatterproof. We are a brand new nonprofit on the scene. We're taking over the nation state by state, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of our inaugural event of the year. You're going to see a heck of a lot more of us. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so happy.
Well, I just would like to share with our viewers how incredible this organization is and how well received I hope our viewers embrace this.
I sure hope so. It's
make it a household word from now on. What
Absolutely.
do you think?
I think that sounds fantastic. That is what we're going for. We want to reduce the stigma associated with addiction. We are Shatterproof. We are Shatterproof. Addiction will not shatter our families anymore.
Well, I certainly concur with you there, and I would certainly hope that the viewers hear the passionate story of Gary and contact you on your website,
Please.
in your Facebook,
Absolutely.
and get involved, because it is also not only personal, but it's community, and anything that undermines our family and our community is worthy of getting involved with.
Absolutely.
So I would like for you to share with the viewers what would be your closing statement, so that as this is viewed here in Pasadena as well as through our other affiliate channels, what would you like to share with them in closing?
We are Shatterproof. Together we are stronger than addiction.
And for closing, share with them your name,
Sure.
and your association with this wonderful organization, and what got you involved with it.
Sure. My name is Ansley Easterlin, and I am the Associate Director of Special Events, and I had one of my best friends struggle with addiction, and rather than running away from him because I knew nothing about it, decided to learn everything I can and support, and that's what we want to see happen more and more across the country.
Well, we really appreciate your contributions today, and certainly Gary's contribution, and look forward to seeing us pretty soon.
Great. Thank you so much. www.shatterproof.org. Thank you.
Thank you.